From the moment it appeared less than a century ago, no piece of battlefield technology has left a track-marked legacy on history quite like the tank. It has slugged its way through every major conflict of the 20th and 21st centuries, and it shows no sign of retiring from the arena anytime soon. But which tanks stand above the rest? To find out, we consulted some of the world's greatest tank experts. They include Tom Clancy, world-famous novelist, tank enthusiast, and military observer. It's about killing people and breaking things, he says. This isn't the Olympics. It's not supposed to be fair out there. We also spoke to Bruce Dickinson, frontman of the legendary rock band Iron Maiden and an amateur tank driver. Once you've driven 20 yards, you really don't want to stop until you get to Berlin, he jokes. And we turned to billionaire tank collector Jacques Littlefield, who owns about 220 military vehicles, including 65 restored tanks. From the sharp end of the tank business, we have combat veterans who know what it's like to get down and dirty with these steel beasts. It was a lot like just getting out in the mud and having a nice time, one says. And the war tune for this is love. The tank is above love. So sit back, brace yourselves, and behold the top 10 greatest tanks of all time, and the cutting-edge technology that makes them mighty. M4 Sherman. We all know what a tank looks like because we've all seen a Sherman. We know what a tank does because we know what a Sherman does. The M4 Sherman is our 10th greatest tank. It's the 33-ton legendary machine recognized from newsreels, comic books, and Hollywood movies. I would definitely say the Sherman is one of the greatest tanks ever made, says one expert. The M4 Sherman is the tank that helped the Allies win World War II. In total, nearly 50,000 Shermans were produced. The greatest ever team reunited 3 veterans with a surviving Sherman, men who once trusted their lives to this tank's state-of-the-art technology during the Allied campaign in Normandy when they were still teenagers. I haven't been in one of these for 60 years, says Brian Carpenter, a former driver. I'm willing to have a go. Nobby Clark was a gunner and Ken Tarr commanded one of these Sherman tanks. When it debuted in 1942 in North Africa, the Sherman quickly became the Allies' go-to tank. Everyone who fought with the Allies had them, the British, Canadians, French, Russians, even the Chinese. It worked everywhere. The gun worked beautifully, says Ken. Its 75mm was very accurate and fired a larger shell, so we could take out bigger targets. It had to have a good gun, decent armor, and excellent mobility. It drove like a car, Brian recalls, almost as good as a modern motor. Not surprising, since the mighty US motor industry built it. For every German tank rolling off the line, the Americans produced about 10 Shermans. The Sherman's design was simple and standardized, maintenance was easy, and driving it was almost foolproof for young recruits. For Brian, who was a college student before the war, it was a steep learning curve at first, but he got the hang of it. The Sherman was more than a fighting machine. It doubled as a laundromat and a kitchen. Crewmen dried their clothes on the exhaust, boiled water for tea, and when nature called, spent shell cases stood in for toilets. If they ran out, they'd just fire the gun to get a fresh one. But by 1942, modestly armored Shermans faced increasingly lethal German tank killers. The Germans called them Tommy Cookers because they easily caught fire when hit. Still, what mattered most in a global war was mass production and supply. The Allies didn't just have one Sherman, they had hundreds ready to replace everyone they lost. Overwhelming numbers made victory inevitable. M1 Sheridan next is a tank born from a designer's daydream, the Sheridan. It emerged from the wish for an air-droppable, go-anywhere, lightweight tank with the firepower of a main battle tank. Unique and daring, it combined versatility and imagination, dropping from planes, floating in water, and firing missiles from its big, oddly shaped gun. But it was a compromise machine, doing everything just okay, rather than excelling at anything. It was deployed in Vietnam, where its lightweight design sometimes proved a liability. Still, as a piece of technological daring, it earns a spot at number 9. Panther. In 1943, German engineering reached its WWII pinnacle with the Panther. The last remaining operational Panther in the world stands as a testament to ruthless German excellence. Its powerful 75mm gun, superb mobility, and sloped armor made it a fearsome weapon. But its over-engineered complexity and late arrival couldn't turn the tide of the war. Still, the Panther's brilliance earns it the number 8 spot, T-72. The 1970s brought the Cold War's iron fist, symbolized by the Soviet T-72. Low-profile, fast, heavily armed and menacing, the T-72 terrified NATO. It had a big 125mm gun, autoloader, and carried forward the Soviet doctrine of mass attack. But its own crew feared its finicky loader and exposed ammunition. Still, the T-72's formidable reputation seals it as the 7th greatest tank. Astrav 103S tank next is the peace-loving Swedes with their S-tank, a turretless oddity that shocked the world. Designed to defend Sweden's borders, it had a fixed gun, incredible agility, and a unique hydro-pneumatic suspension. It excelled at static defense, but lacked mobility when firing. Innovative, yet too specialized, it ranks number 6. Centurion, at number 5, is the British Centurion, serving from WWII's end into the late 20th century, an international bestseller and a legend in reliability. Its simplicity and rugged design made it the backbone of many low-budget armies. Though handling was tricky and fuel economy poor, its durability and adaptability helped it endure decades of warfare. Merkava for no. Mana 4, we look to Israel's Merkava, custom-built for a tiny nation surrounded by enemies. With the engine at the front for crew protection and room in the back for extra infantry, the Merkava fits Israel's needs perfectly. It's constantly evolving with battlefield feedback, making it a unique, versatile fortress on tracks. T-34. Third is the T-34, the Soviet masterpiece that broke the Nazi war machine. Its sloped armor, reliable diesel engine, and potent 76mm gun set the standard. It was simple, robust, and produced in staggering numbers. The T-34's contributions to the Soviet victory make it a tank legend. M1 Abrams, at number 2, is America's M1 Abrams, the Rolls-Royce of modern tanks. Fast, powerful, and with next-generation composite armor, it's a dominant force on any battlefield. An aircraft-derived turbine engine gives it speed, if at the cost of immense fuel consumption. Tested in multiple conflicts, the Abrams still leads the pack for Western main battle tanks. Leopard 2, and now the number 1 greatest tank of all, Germany's Leopard 2. After WWII, Germany returned to tank design with the Leopard 2, a marvel of engineering. It seamlessly integrates firepower, protection, mobility, and user-friendly technology. European armies love it, and it's designed with modular components and computerized maintenance systems. Every aspect is refined, making the Leopard 2 the perfect blend of efficiency and lethality. So, from 10 down to 1, we've seen tanks swim, leap, and even fly. These steel warriors have defined mechanized warfare for generations. The tank is the face of war. Be afraid, be very afraid.